Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 290. We're getting close to 300. Evan is actually working on a 300 shirt right now for the Spawncast, so keep the ear to the ground for that one. I don't know if you posting anything over on Twitter for that shirt when we get closer to it, Evan?
Every now and then. Hopefully this week. I might, most of the streaming this week, fingers crossed, might actually be leaning towards working on it. So we'll be doing streams with it.
Okay, good. That'll be exciting. We have a couple things to talk about here. I didn't even check. Nate, you there?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yes, I'm
Nate's here.
watching the World Series.
All right, good to see Nate here. All right, cool. I just want to make sure. I realized I didn't even notice you were here. So good that Nate's with us tonight. But we do have some stuff to go over tonight. Includes Bayonetta 3 because it is actually out now. We also got the review scores that went live. We have some Xbox stuff to talk about because Phil Spencer decided to have an entire talk for roughly 30 minutes. A bunch of things, which also kind of alluded to the idea of something going up in price on their side. God of War, Ragnarok previews, and just the game apparently leaked. Call of Duty, of course, also came out. And we'll talk about Square Enix because they're being Square Enix. They got issues. So we do have a sponsor tonight that is Raycon. We'll talk more about them a little later on in their new gaming series products. Exciting stuff there. But let me go over to Sean because Sean apparently had to poll the audience. The phone a friend here. Hit him with it, Sean.
I don't know which is an eye doctor, optometrist or ophthalmologist.
An optometrist.
Okay, I need an optometrist or someone who knows optometry, maybe studying it. My eyes have been like tearing for like the past couple days. They don't hurt. They're not dry. There's nothing wrong with them besides like I'll just be sitting outside and I'll just be crying. And I'm like, I'm not crying. Like
it's
I'm
your
not
inner
sad.
child trying to claw its way out.
I took a Claritin in hopes of that, but yeah, nothing. I got nothing. I did Google it. It said it could be this, that, or the other, but all the other stuff it said involved pain or irritation. There's no irritation. They just tear.
I mean, it's very likely just related to allergies.
You good for the after show?
Yeah, I'm good for the after show.
Okay, he's gonna push through it, everyone. He's gonna roll the after show. Good to have Sean here. Let's go over to MVG.
Hello.
Very ominous over there in that room. I like it. I like it. Okay. He's got one big spotlight that's just red and purple.
I got two lights in the back, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll change them out at some point. Make them red or something.
Very nice.
Put on the red light.
Put on the red light.
Very nice. We got OJ, Player Essence, here with us. How we doing over there? Pre-show? How'd everything go there?
Pre-show went well. It was fun. Somebody tried to tell me that Cooper Kupp was the same receiver that he is not at this point. He was the same receiver with Jared Goff, and he told me to look up the stats, and I said bullshit on that one. And that's the truth because he's way better. He's way better with Matthew Stafford. That's not even he won the Triple Crown. Mm-hmm. So no. Yeah. So that was stupid. Sorry, I just had to make sure I got that out there because that's ridiculous. We all know because we were talking about who's better, Deebo Samuels or Cooper Kupp, and I said, well, Deebo's better because Deebo was doing this with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay. Yeah. I think he's got a guy who can't throw more than 10 yards, so he's still making it work. Good stuff. Good to have OJ here. Let's go over to...
Let's talk about video games, right, guys? Sorry.
Video games. Yes, let's go to Jordan. Jordan, how we doing?
Video games. Glad to be here.
Good to have Jordan here.
Cartoons.
And we already got Nate, but I just have to ask Nate what his thoughts were on the game one of the World Series, seeing the Astros lose to the Phillies.
The Phillies are losing right now in game 2, 3-0. And it pains me to have to say this.
Go ahead and say it.
I have to root for the Astros because they have a hometown player from Providence, Rhode Island. Jimmy Pena went to classical high school in Providence.
Hold on.
He's a Rhode Island native.
They swept out the Yankees and you're cheering for him?
He's a Rhode Island native.
Are you just mad because the Phillies did what the Yankees wish they could?
The Phillies haven't done anything yet.
They beat the Astros. The Yankees
one game.
At how many games the Yankees beat them?
In the regular season, a couple.
Who cares about the regular? No one's going to remember the regular season next year.
You asked if the Yankees beat the Astros, and they have.
In the postseason.
You didn't specify that.
Well, let's start with a Discord question tonight, Evan. What we got over there?
What was the last game you had a good cry playing?
Sean's crying with everything.
I'm crying right now during Bayonetta 3. I
games.
can't help it. I've never cried.
I was gonna say
bad at a video game.
I don't think so.
Some people do, but no, just for me, no.
Okay. You got another one, Evan?
Will Mac OS gaming ever be a thing?
No,
I'd like to
This-
think
this-
it would.
no.
This
Here's
guy over here is trying.
Here's the
to
only way it will become gaming, anything like if they do a console or if they do a VR headset with that M1 chip, because people were telling me that's it's the MacBook Pro. That's why it's like $1,600 laptops. Like, yeah, but the MacBook Air you can get one for $700 and it plays Resident Evil Village 1080p at 60. So that's pretty good for a $700 laptop. You don't
Doesn't
see
a
a lot
Steam
of those.
Deck run at 60? It does. You can do Village at 60 on a Steam Deck.
Yeah, but the
And you can play a
MacBook,
bunch more games,
the MacBook Air is passively cooled. Doesn't even have a fan.
so it's more expensive than the Steam Deck.
That also sounds like if you push it too far, there might be problems.
Oh, I'm sure it'll burn your leg or something, probably.
Like don't
have
put
to
it
see
don't put
because
it on the
that's-
covers of your bed while you're doing it. That's not a good
Because
option.
it does 1080p high 60 frames. I'm curious what the Steam Deck settings are. Because I think the M1 kind of slaps around the Steam Deck in terms of its overall like ability.
Well, it should. It's more expensive.
I mean, no, the Steam Deck is like $800.
No, I mean you can get the $400 one and get the same experience. Just get a fucking micro.
Oh, the
SD
MacBook
card.
Air doesn't exist as 64 gigabytes.
Okay.
I thought we were comparing like to like models here.
I mean, it would be
storage.
the cheapest model versus the cheapest model.
No, I don't think we're gonna see that unless Capcom probably had to get paid out something from Apple to do that. I assume it's just an example. But technically, if you want to be straightforward about it, I think Apple makes more money than what Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft combined in terms of gaming. So technically, they are the gaming leader, I guess, if you want to go that far. But it's all like Apple Arcade and like their app shop and taking percentage of, I don't know, Candy
Are you
Crush.
sure Apple isn't the sponsor tonight? Come on.
I'm just trying to
Right.
give people the facts. Getting people the facts here.
If you want to
The
play
fact is
cheap small
that
games,
gaming on
get
Mac
Apple.
OS is never happening.
It could happen.
Damn, Nate. Damn.
That is the fact.
You closed
It's
the
not
door on
gonna
that.
happen. It's not going to become a serious contender. They've been trying for 20 years and
They have been
trying.
trying. Well, they didn't try that hard before. Now they actually have a chip that can do something.
It's still not going to lead to a damn thing.
Didn't they have like,
damn
a
thing?
console? They had the Apple Scottie Pippen,
The
right?
Pippin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pippin.
There we go. I think there were some Dragon Ball Z games on that thing.
Wow.
There we go. You have another Discord question, Evan?
I guess last on this kind of topic, you guys use Android or iOS?
Android.
Android.
iOS.
iOS.
The truth comes out. Do you see this? See, this is where the gaming revenue's coming from for Apple. I know, Sean, you're not using an iPhone though.
Nah, I'm Android.
Thank you.
I was kind of hoping you'd say like Nokia brick or something.
I have a Samsung Galaxy S10 or whatever.
I already
it
know
is.
OJ. He's on the one. He's the OnePlus family over there. He's good. He's good.
Yeah, had my phone since 2019. No problems whatsoever. Still really good.
And I know Nate's not on iOS because all the trash is talking to Apple, so he's not on that.
I got an Android. I got a Galaxy S5.
Wow. See, Nate's the
So you
one.
got a
Traveling
Galaxy
through a time
S5.
machine.
Yeah, I got 16 gigabytes of onboard memory with this bad boy.
Okay, yo, Nate, that's just ghetto, man. You gotta.
I got it 5 years ago. It still works.
If you
Why am I gonna
unplug
upgrade?
it, if you unplug it from the charger, does it have like 10 seconds of battery life left? Or
I got
No,
a
that's-
full day.
Those are the replaceable batteries, so you can just get a
Yeah.
new one, right?
No, I
no,
have
Nate.
one. I
Pop
use
it
it
out,
for
pop a new battery in. Boom, all set.
I have one. I have a S6 that I use for like just when I run, like just
There
as
you
like
go. There you
as
go.
like a MP3 player or whatever. But dude, that you can't use it as your main phone. What the hell is wrong with you, man?
That's all I need. I get to check my email. I can browse the web.
There's something wrong with you if you still
can make
using
my
that
phone
crusty
calls.
ass
That's all I need.
phone, man. Like,
I will run this thing into the ground.
clearly.
like a week from now, yeah.
I had an S3 until it just could not hold a charge anymore.
You mean you would keep on
Regardless of when I
running this?
swapped the battery, it just died. Then I was like, all right, might as well get a new phone. Until this phone completely shits the bed. I will keep it.
Okay, thanks, Nate. Thank you.
It's gonna be
like-
shitting soon.
This is like Ice Cube Friday ghetto, man.
Let's
I respect it.
Craig and Day ghetto.
Hey, my yard sneakers don't even have soles on the bottom of them anymore.
What's a yard sneaker?
those are
Yeah,
the ones you
I
only use when you cut the grass.
when I
Yeah.
rake the leaves and stuff.
Yep.
They're
Why
usually
are you
called,
living
they're
in
usually called work
poverty? Like,
shoes.
what is going on?
No, I got new sneakers I could wear, but they're just gonna get destroyed by cutting the grass. They're gonna get all dirty and stuff. So I just use the shoes that already beat up. Why am I gonna ruin a new pair of
Department of Human
sneakers?
Services? Do we need to call this?
Why ruin a new pair of sneakers doing yard work when I already have ruined sneakers?
No, that's
Hands
true.
on Wick? Are you on Wick, bro?
This is-
Like, what is going on?
This is 4D chess.
40 chest.
This is how you got to think. If you have already destroyed clothing, you use that for yard work. If you have a bad shirt, use it as a rag. Don't throw it away. Use it as a rag when you clean your car.
You
Sponsored by EBT, bro. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I just don't go outside, so I don't have yard.
Let's shift over to Bayonetta 3. It's out now. The reviews came out. Got what's that, Sean?
I didn't know it came out yet.
Oh, yeah, it did. It came out. You're sub to Sean and OJ. You getting the Helena Taylor keeps looking stranger and stranger in those thumbnails.
He made her look crazy in the thumbnails. I was very respectful of Ms. Taylor, you know, in my thumbnails, and I just put her normal picture.
I was
know?
not.
Yeah, you were not.
Sean
I was respectful.
You got a little crazy with that distort tool there, Sean.
Liquefy.
Liquefy.
Looked like she was like doing like a jutsu or something like Naruto. She looked crazy. She looked like what's it called? That one chick with the crazy
Straw
eyes
hat.
in Naruto.
Yeah, straw hat.
The game's out. All right, it's out now. It came in at an 89 on Metacritic, so within proximity of the others, I would say. And I picked it up. I've played a couple of the stages so far. I know, Sean, you played quite a bit of it, actually, I believe.
Yeah,
MVG did a whole analysis of it, so we'll go to him too. And OJ, of course, I think played for multiple hours yesterday.
God, oh my god, I played for so long.
I don't know, Nate. Did you pick it up yet? You rented it?
I'm
Yet?
like on chapter
Okay.
6 or so.
Okay. Very good. So I think you guys probably played more than I have so far. So we'll start with anyone who really wants to jump in on the Bayonetta 3 talk. What do we think of it so far?
Oh, it is such a game. I don't know. I haven't played it. OJ, tell me about it.
Yeah, it's Bayonetta, but it's more Bayonetta. It's really
Less
fun.
frame rates.
It's actually the same amount.
More Bayonetta, less frame rates. $60.
It's actually the same amount that it's always been. It's always kind of been like that. I mean, unless you're playing the PS3 version, which it was less than the PS. Or if you're playing
PS3
PC
version was really bad. The PS3 version was really
PS3
bad.
version was bad. 360 version was better, but it was still not locked. Then they went to PS4. PS4 version's good. PC. I have every single version. I played Bayonetta 2. What's up?
Steam Deck version?
That's the Steam version. I have the
Deck
Steam.
version.
I have Steam. Yeah, I have Steam. Bayonetta 2 on Switch and Wii U have those played. So I'm a big Bayonetta fan. I like Bayonetta probably the most out of anybody here when it comes to it. So I really like the Demon Slave mechanic. I think that's probably the best new mechanic that they added in because it just kind of creates more of like a big, like monstrous feel to the gameplay. And then
That's where you hold ZL and you just start wailing on something with the big
watch her convulse for a
But
bit in the corner.
it gets more in depth than that though, because at first I thought it was just button mashing, but they actually have a whole skill tree per a demon slave. Like, and you get combos. Like you can actually do combos like Bayonetta's combos, but with the demons, and then other stuff too as well. So that was actually a really nice surprise. The weapons, I thought it was gonna be a little weird at first, not having like weapons where you equip your hands and your feet and being able to mix and match. But I think it works well to not overwhelm new players, because if you did that, then you'd have Demon Slave. They have their own mechanics and also mixing and matching with the weapon. So I think I'm kind of happy that they just made it to where you just pick a weapon set and then you can just swap between them on the fly along with the Demon Slave stuff, which is dope. I'm finally kind of getting my bearings because, usually I go for the pure platinums and I beat the games on the hardest difficulty. And this one was just throwing me off, but I'm actually starting to get a hang of it. Posted a little clip on Twitter. And yeah, the game has more freedom to kind of move in and out, like with dodge offsetting. And hopefully I'm not getting too technical here or whatever the case is, but like the freedom that you can do with dodge offsetting and with demon slaves and the new mechanics just make like the combat just flow. Once you really start understanding it, it makes being able to rack your combo meter up and get the pure platinums, just as long as you don't get hit, really cool. And you still have all your tools. You know, you still have all your tools that you had before, bats within. You still have like the items that you can use to potentially take like a hit or two. So there's still options for you to try to get those pure platinums. And the content in the game is dope. There's so much side content. There's so much other stuff to do in there. Like I was having a ton of fun doing like the genre, like it's like Metal Gear or something like that. It's like Shadow Complex or Metal Gear.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the 2D stuff. It's actually kind of cool. Like it's not anything like super crazy, like in-depth mechanics.
Reminds me of Elevator Action. Have you played the Elevator Action game?
I've never played that.
Remind me of.
Yeah, I've never played it, but yeah, I mean, I like it. I know MVG, you talked about the frame rate stuff, and that's still there. You know, I feel it sometimes when I play, but I'm just focused on like just trying to play. So sometimes that overwhelms me, and I'm not really worried about too much other stuff. So I didn't really worry, like, you know, I don't really feel it too much, but it's definitely there, you know, definitely there. So like I acknowledge that. But yeah, I'm just having a ton of fun playing. As like I said, as a super Bayonetta fan, this is the best combat in the series by far, for me at least. It's just so much fun to play. I can't put it down. I think I put like 11 or 12 hours into it already. So I want to play more.
Nice.
I want to keep playing.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff.
So yeah.
What do you think of it so far, Sean? Where are you with this game?
It's pretty enjoyable. There's a few things I'm not a huge fan of, which I'll potentially talk about tomorrow. But for the most part, I enjoy it. I like kind of how crazy it gets at times. I find that there's a surprising amount of destructible elements to the game, and maybe that's just because I've also been playing Modern Warfare 2, where like soda bottles are like glued to the fucking table because you can't shoot them. But in this game, there's a lot of destructible environments. I don't know. Her name escapes me. I'm actually playing as her right now. The blonde-haired, short-haired lady. What's her name?
Viola.
Again? Viola. I'm not really sold on her. I don't really care for her.
Oh, you don't like Viola?
No.
Oh, okay. I like Viola a little bit because like you do parries in order to get the witch time.
Yeah.
So it feels good to get the parry and then like go like into her witch time.
See, but I don't know. I get kind of accustomed to playing as Bayonetta, and it's the dodge that does the witch time. And then I'll be sitting there dodging. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to parry, which is the other button. You know, just minor things like that. I do like how it sort of draws inspiration from a lot of games, as the aforementioned Elevator Action. There's some Spider-Man in it, of all things. I definitely feel. Of course, Godzilla with the kaiju battles and stuff, which are pretty fun. So overall, it's a very enjoyable game for sure. I smile when I play it, and I usually don't smile.
It gets off to a fast start. Like in the first hour,
yeah,
it's just madness. So they do a good job, I would say. Just even if you're new to the game series, just kind of kicking things off and getting it moving. MVG, you had the Digital Foundry like frame rate action going on over there. How you feeling about the game right now?
I think the game is great. I like the game a lot. And, you know, frame rate issues and stuff, yes, that is definitely a thing with the game. But, I mean, to OJ's point, I do agree, actually, that, like, because there's just so much going on at any given time, you don't really have a chance to really stop and notice it a lot of the times. You're just in there fighting, and, you know, it's always fast, right? So I think they're really... No, I'm not saying they're hiding the frame rate issues or anything like that, but they definitely just keep throwing so much at you all the time, and it just... You know, it's a very enjoyable game. I love the Demon Slave mechanic. I think it's really cool. In fact, I'd probably go as far as to say that's one of the reasons why the frame rate is a little all over the place. Because you can basically select each of those three. At least I have three. I don't know if that's the total number you get in the game, but
you get much more.
And they're basically available on demand. So somehow they must keep all those in memory, right? Like they just have to get them up and running like as soon as you hit that L trigger. So I can definitely see why its performance is a little shaky at times. It's a very ambitious game. I think it's a lot. The scope of this game is just huge. All the different things that they have put into the game, all the different side things that are going on, the Godzilla battles and the elevator action 2D stuff, and I think the game is great. And even performance, I did make a video on it today, really just to illustrate what it currently looks like and how it potentially could run better on better hardware. doesn't really mean anything in the long term, but it's just one of those things where I felt like maybe Platinum was building this game out for something a little more powerful, or maybe they're keeping it up their sleeve for, whatever comes next, and maybe they'll bring that to
this one of the games at the top of the list. Let's say there is either a Switch Pro or like some next gen one down the line.
Yeah.
It's one of the games that's at the top of the list to go back to and be like, all right, let's see what we have here.
I think so. I mean, that would be really cool if they did that. But I'm happy with the game. On the OLED, it looks ridiculous sometimes how good it looks.
I had one issue with the OLED, though. I will say this: I was playing, and it was earlier on. I actually could notice the resolution getting a little lower. Than I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. This is looking kind of blurry. There's a lot of stuff happening, but even I was like, oh, this looks kind of blurry right now. And then after a lot of the action stopped, it kind of cleared up a bit. But that was one of the first times where there's a few games, I should say, that I could notice that in, specifically in handheld mode, because I think the screen size on the Switch really helps to hide some of the resolution drops when it comes to handheld mode. That was one instance early on in the game where I was like, oh, that I actually could see that.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think this game is really pushing the Switch really hard.
I agree.
I think
so too.
And in some areas, it quite doesn't succeed, and you just kind of get the sense that they just, if Platinum had better hardware to work with, this game would be, near perfect almost. But hey, it's still very good. I'm very happy with the game. And as I said in my video today, if you are a Bayonetta fan, and I mean, you're probably already playing the game right now, but if you haven't, you're on the fence, I would definitely check it out. It's definitely recommended.
Where that Steam Deck version at, though?
Everyone was telling me.
I mean, I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
On stream, they were saying like the Yuzu version. Yuzu, it's like all jacked up, or it's
Yeah,
like,
it's not. They haven't ironed it out. Apparently,
hasn't been updated yet.
someone put up
like
a
the
video.
newer games, yeah.
Someone put up a video of it with like an i7 and a 30 series card, and it was sitting between 24 and 30 frames in a lot
It's
of
gonna look
areas.
all busted probably too. Like the visuals are messed up. So they usually, when the game comes out, they take a look at it, and then a lot of times they'll patch the emulator or release a new version to fix any of those issues. So to be honest, probably next year it'll be like 4K 60 on some ridiculous rig somewhere. So Nate, what'd you think of it so far? Hit us with it.
As everyone else was saying, I mean, the gameplay is definitely the strongest element to the game. If you're a fan of the Bayonetta franchise, there's plenty to love here in terms of the gameplay. The combat is good. A lot of diversity in how you can approach the situations and how you can explore the environment using the different demons to your abilities. So you can scale walls if you're a spider to try to get to a high up secret if you really want to explore, find all the chests, the witches' hearts, and all of that stuff. The main drawback of the game would definitely come down to, if in handheld mode, is the resolution. The resolution does drop significantly.
It's not just me,
below
then.
720p. No,
Okay, I thought
I-
I played it mostly in handheld mode. This is actually my first time playing it on a monitor.
According to DF, it drops to about 460p.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch the resolution number on that. Okay. What is it in dock mode?
I think they said 800p, maybe.
Yeah,
810
around
or
there.
I think that's
something like that.
because the Wii U version was 720, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
cleaner than the Wii U version, at least for my eyes on dock mode.
Okay, so that makes sense. Handheld.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
The
Okay.
Switch version was 720p too.
There you go. Moving up.
And it definitely, I mean, it depends on the scenarios you're in when you're playing in handheld, how far, you'll see that resolution drop. But there was one case where I was fighting a tall demon and I'm just kind of wailing at its foot just due to the perspective that the game gives you. And the entire character model of Bayonetta was just a blur. It's not enough to detract from what you're playing. It's still in a playable state, but it is noticeable. You could just look beyond it because what you're playing is very enjoyable. One thing that stands out to me, though, is that there are certain environments that are just devoid of any detail, and it largely comes down to the texture work and the artistic direction that they were going with in some of these areas, where if you look at a game like Bayonetta 1 or Bayonetta 2, it had a very distinct artistic approach. It had, gothic elements, and these are just empty. It is devoid of any sense of personality. I believe it's chapter 3 where you're going through some temples.
Yeah.
And the temples, the textures, everything is flat. It looks as though this was an early 360 game. And it's just disappointing to see a game that was so rich in design and artistic direction seemingly fall to lack of ambition, I guess, in terms of scope of what they wanted to display on screen. And it almost feels as though they were looking to do something more grand in overall design with this game, maybe go full open world a little more than what they did, and they had to scale back, and we maybe got something smaller than what they originally envisioned back when the game was announced in 2017, which happens with games all the time. You have ambition of what you want to create, you scale it back to what the hardware can actually handle in terms of scope, budget, and all of those factors. But it felt as though some of these areas, they were looking to do something more with it, and now you have these invisible walls to section off where you can go and explore, whereas maybe that was originally something that you were going to be able to explore and really take in, because the game is, it's still linear in design as any other Bayonetta game. It's just, it feels as though the world itself just lacks that.
Wait till you get to the desert, Nate. Wait till you get to the desert.
Is that it's going to amaze me, or I'm going to look at it kind of like a near automata and say, oh no?
It gets better as you keep playing, as far as what you're saying. Like, I agree with you. Those
I thought the desert was boring as shit, and I couldn't.
I thought it's way better. Like, for me, I know what you're saying, that some of those early kind of city levels, that they are quite devoid of things. But I kind of get the feeling, Nate, that maybe they were kind of at the tail end of development. They needed to optimize a little bit, and they really just took some things away just to make sure the performance was in the right spot. But look, I don't really know which one's better, because like this game, at least you can basically, bash cars and they blow up and stuff. If you play like Call of Duty, like you shoot everything and nothing happens.
That's what I was saying.
So I definitely respect what they've done here with this one. But I do agree that some of those early stages are a little devoid of, textures.
It might have been a problem, come to think of it, with the development. Helena Taylor. Shout out to Jennifer Hale. Jennifer Hale, you're a beautiful person.
But the game itself, a lot of fun, well designed, has ambition, how it approaches combat with the demons and everything. So it's great that they did build upon the foundation that Bayonetta 2 had set before it, and they did want to grow. The game hasn't hit the highs that Bayonetta 2 had set for me yet, but I'm still only about halfway through, so I'm hopeful that I am going to get one of those moments that just wows me. Like, I had the Godzilla fight, it was cool, but Bayonetta 2 just felt as though maybe it was just the pacing of the game up to this point that was more impressive to me. But Bayonetta 3 is definitely a solid entry to the series. There's really, if you're a fan of it, there's nothing here that's going to ruin the game for you. If you are not a fan of Bayonetta, this game also won't offer anything to you to draw you in either.
Okay. Thank you, Nate. Thank you. So Bayonetta out now. I think it's a good pickup. I do. And I'll be curious if we revisit this maybe the next year or two with some new hardware to drop it in to see how it does. So we'll see. Let's go over to, we'll hit Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 while we're talking about games as well. Let's see. The multiplayer is out now. Of course, we played the campaign, talked about that last week. That's actually what Jordan's on now, but he played some of the multiplayer. Sean, you played some of the multiplayer. Obviously, we played a little bit. MVG, you did the campaign. I don't know if you got in the multiplayer at all. You tried that?
I haven't played multi yet. I've almost finished the campaign and I like it.
Okay.
Other than the fact that nothing is destructible.
Okay. Nate, you didn't play the multiplayer yet.
I'm not playing Call of Duty at all.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Boycotting.
Yeah, I'm actually decided to boycott tonight. I've decided. Today's the first day, and
now the sales will be through the roof.
Well, listen, I gotta stick up from what I feel is right, and it is what it is.
So let's okay. So Call of Duty, we played the multiplayer, and I'm enjoying it. I like what I'm playing so far. Sean and I played a bit, but even around that, I was playing here and there. It's easy to jump into and jump out. You can spend 10 minutes, and the matches are ridiculously quick because there's no respawn time. You just hit the button and you go again. So matches take 6-7 minutes for the standard ones. Sean, you were saying we were running out of time a lot. I don't know if it's because we were playing more careful, but every time I played today, the timer we were rolling right through with minutes on the clock still.
Well, you gotta be strategic.
Yeah, I will say that we were being pretty strategic. But like I said, Sean and I played. We also did Ground War, which is kind of like their Battlefield version of it. I liked that. That was actually, that felt like older Battlefield before it became kind of bad. But that definitely harkened back to like the Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 days, I think. But when we played the regular stuff, we did third person. Third person is weird because if you have a scope on your gun, I don't really know what the point of it is. You don't scope in anymore. So I guess you just take that right off of the gun. But they have Gunsmith, which basically lets you take your gun and you throw attachments all over it without having to unlock specific ones for that gun. So you basically have to open it up, and anything you've already unlocked you can drop on there, or ammunition or any of that. But the game itself feels a bit more grounded, but also, I don't know, it's still, I feel like it's still a little faster than last year with Vanguard. Not a lot of people like Vanguard.
Vanguard wasn't a finished game.
No. Strangely enough, ended up being the most complete first-person shooter that holiday. But either way, Sean, what'd you think of COD? Jordan, feel free to chime in, of course, with your COD thoughts as well.
I like it. I like, one of my guilty pleasures has always been military-based shooters. Single player, I don't know. It's still, I mean, not single player. First-person perspective. A lot of those game modes just feel way too like ADD orientated for me. Just run around like a psychopath.
People do run around in circles, yeah.
Yeah, there's no kind of strategy to it. Ground War was super fun. I think Ground War is something we should play more. I really like the third person stuff, man. I feel like you could do it. It kind of changes up how, I mean, because you can run around like a psychopathic idiot, but it doesn't work quite as well in third person mode, and you're able to take people out a lot easier that are doing that.
You can see a lot better. Like, you can see more around you with third person, and it kind of, what's the game you compared it to?
A little bit of SOCOM.
SOCOM. Had some SOCOM in there.
But yeah, I actually am having fun with it. Would I have bought it? I don't know. I might have been convinced to buy it. I did end up getting a review copy just sent to me. So, you know, it's pretty good though. It's pretty good. It's if you like mindless first person shooters, it's another mindless first.
They haven't really reinvented the wheel much with COD. I'm not gonna say it's like some revolutionary new thing. It's still Call of Duty at the end of the day.
I think the thing that makes it attractive is you look at something like Halo and how that launched, and you look at something like this, and this game has, even Halo now versus this now, like there's so many different ways and game modes to play.
Oh, there's a lot in this game, yeah.
Versus a lot of other first-person shooters, and like even if you get bored of just one mode, you could switch to something that plays completely different, and find something enjoyable.
Yeah, and there's obviously a lot of leveling and progression, and like something's always unlocking, and that's kind of their strategy, is to keep that dopamine rush going of unlocking stuff. So in that regard, they've done well. And if you play through the campaign, you unlock operators in the multiplayer. So get back to that, Sean. Sean dropped that campaign real quick.
No, I played it twice, and I got to like mission 8 or 9, and I was like, "Fuck,
dude, you're halfway through the game. The game's the campaign's 5 hours long."
That's fine. It can be 5 hours long. They had to meet Sniper McDiaper last night.
Oh gosh,
don't fuck around with Sniper McDiaper.
It has full crossplay as well. We haven't tested it, but it's there. So, Jordan.
Yeah, the game is it's fine. Like it's Call of Duty. It's a step up from last year's for sure. I haven't played enough because I liked Modern Warfare, right? What they did with Modern Warfare, that was really pretty impressive in, I think, was that 2019?
Yeah, that house, everyone always remembers that first time you breach and clear a house. That thing looked real for a while there in some of those shots.
Yeah, and then the graphics here, not that it makes a game, but they are impressive. There's some really cool moments in the game. The campaign so far has been fine. I'm only a few missions into it, but it's been fine. It is like you said when we talked last week. It's very much like, hey, look, this character, this character's back. Yeah, what about this character? Oh, he's back too. And that's what it kind of feels like. It feels like we're just getting the bunch back together. The multiplayer, which is usually most years I just don't even bother with the multiplayer, but how this game is set up when you get it is you download it, you install it, and then it's like, okay, you're all good. You go to the game, and it's like, oh, you want to play the campaign? Oh, well, now you have to install that. And so while I was waiting, I ended up playing the multiplayer. And at first, it felt either like Call of Duty has changed, like it just felt like heavier and slower than our typical Call of Duty, but it was it's not bad. I ended up playing a bunch of the quick play stuff, and really liked a lot of the game modes on there. Started having fun just running around with pistols and shotguns. Is apparently my
That
specialty
shotgun is
online.
a beast in that game.
I just run around and use the side the sidearms are way
Break
way
out the
more
shotgun,
fun.
you'll be all right.
Yeah, shotgun and pistols all day is how I want my loadout to be.
I think they need to nerf the distance of the shotgun. I think
Yeah, they might.
It
From
is good.
From the
It
hip.
is- yeah, you shoot that thing really far.
Yeah.
It's great.
You don't have to zoom in with it. You just fire from the hip, and you'll just knock people down in front of you. It's over.
Oh, it's great.